Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome to Heaven Knows Horror. I'm Heather and today I thought I would do the horror movies tag. 13 questions all about horror, which is what I'm all about. Question 1.
What's your favorite scary movie?
This is easy. I've always said it. The Exorcist is my favourite film of all time. To me, it is perfect. It's got the right amount of good acting, good storyline, good effects. Scary, scared the shit out of me when I first watched it. It's just perfect. And you know, it's the first horror film that was ever nominated for Best Film Academy Award, so you just know that it's good. Question number 2. Who is your favourite Scream Queen? To be honest, I don't really have a favourite Scream Queen.
You have to have a favourite. What comes to mind?
But the one that's probably most recognisable in my era, the 90s, is Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott from Scream. I mean, she's in all of the movies, is she? Is she in Scream 4? She's in all of the movies, so to survive all those people trying to kill her, she's got to be pretty badass, and she does have some really good one-liners, so I have respect for Sidney Prescott. Number 3. What type of horror film do you like? This is a difficult question because I like a lot. I like all the genres, pretty much. I think I would have to say that I just like horror that is well written, innovative. I like horror that is well written and gives you something new. But I would have to say my favourite genre is probably supernatural and possession movies. They're the ones that scare me the most. Even though I know that they can't happen, it's just ghosts, you know, how do you fight them off? If someone comes into my house, I can beat them over the head. You can't do that with a ghost, and I think that's what scares me most about ghosts. Question number 4. What type of horror film do you not like? I'm not a fan of gore movies that's the only really plot to them is the fact like that there's gore in it. That's the only interesting thing. So stuff like, I like the first Saw, but the sequels are terrible. Hostel 1 was good, kind of, but the rest, nope. Human Centipede, all of that is terrible. Like stuff like the Serbian film, I will never watch that just because I know what's in it and it does not interest me in any way, and it doesn't really sound like anything I would want to watch. It doesn't sound like it would even have a good storyline. No, just not interested, no. Question number 5. If you were a Scream Queen in any movie, which would it be? I would say Evil Dead, but it's always the girls that tend to turn into Deadites, but I would get to hang out with Bruce Campbell. I'm going to pick something that I think I could survive. I'm going to say Scream. For one, I'm not going to any parties or anything or hanging out with teenagers, so I think I'd be okay. I think I could come up with some really good one-liners for that movie and throw them in there to be a complete badass. So yeah. 6. Who is your favourite villain and why? I'm going to have to go with Pazuzu out of The Exorcist, which is the name of the demon. Like, you never really see what he looks like, apart from the little flashes that come up off the face. But when he's in Reagan, you get to see his character, and he's just so cheeky. Like, and he's got some sass, he's talking back to Father Karras. It's just more interesting than any other villain, really. And if I had to pick a second favourite, it would be Freddy, for the same reason. He's got a bit of sass. I mean, yeah, he's a paedophile, but he's also a paedophile with some good puns, so. Who is the worst horror villain and why? I wouldn't say there's such a thing as a bad horror villain. No, wait, there is. The Leprechaun. I just forgot that I watched that movie the other day. I hate that movie. I hate Warwick Davis as an actor. I hated his Irish accent, which was non-existent. I hated the fact that they tried to make it comedy, but it wasn't funny. Yeah, I just hated everything about that movie. So he's definitely my least favourite villain, and I hate the fact that those movies have become like a cult thing because they don't deserve it. Child's Play is better. Question number 8. What is the worst horror movie you have seen and why? Recently, probably The Bye-Bye Man, just because the film in itself did not make any sense and the CGI was the worst I've seen in a movie in a very long time. And it was not scary, it was not original. I went to see it at the cinema and it was just a great big disappointment. Even the name of the movie is awful. Question number 9. Which horror film is overrated? I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for saying this, but I don't think that The Shining deserves to be named like the scariest horror film of all time. It's always number 1 on like those lists that are on Channel 4 around Halloween, and I don't understand why. It's not scary to me. I love the film and I think it's really good and it's a really good story and it's shot really well and it's really well acted, but to me it's just not the scariest horror film of all time. The way that Jack Torrance dies is just enough to make me laugh, you know, when he's like, The Exorcist is always number 2 and it annoys me that The Exorcist isn't number 1. So maybe I'm just a bitter Exorcist fan that's annoyed that Exorcist can't be number 1. And another Stephen King movie that I think is overrated is It. Oh my god, please don't kill me. But I just don't find clowns scary either, so.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Question 10. Which horror film is underrated? I'm going to have to go with another Stephen King movie. Pet Sematary is like one of my favourite horrors. There's just so much cool stuff in it and I don't think enough people talk about it. The scariest thing in that film is the sister, played by a man, like dressed as a woman, and she's got leukemia or a bone disease or something, and she was in my nightmares for weeks after I watched that. And the cutting through the ankle and just there's a zombie cat, there's a zombie baby, it's just amazing. And people don't talk about it enough. Question 11. Do you like horror spoof movies? Yes, I do. I like them very much. I was at the perfect age when all these scary movies came out. To me, they're like one of the most quotable movies ever, and I still use quotes these days. So if I'm at work and someone's in my way, I'll be like,
watch my Fanny's coming through. Watch it. Make room for Fanny.
That is a good quote. It's a good quote to use. And my germs, that's another good one. And
I better use my strong hand.
yeah, mainly just that one character from Scary Movie 2 I'm into. But there was parts in Scary Movie 1 that I had the tape of it and I used to just rewind it and play it, rewind it and play it because I just thought it was the funniest thing I had ever seen. My 11-year-old mind was just blown at how funny this thing was. Question 12. What is your favourite horror movie series? Hands down, Evil Dead. I will watch anything Evil Dead. I've watched all 3. I've watched the remake, which is surprisingly good. And I've watched all of Ash vs. Evil Dead, both series. Very excited for the next series. Yeah, it's so much fun. You can't not have fun watching Evil Dead, and I think that's what I like about it. Like, you can be in the crappiest mood, put Evil Dead on, and then you can laugh at Bruce Campbell getting slapped around by his hand that he just cut off. Best scene ever. Yeah, if anyone doesn't like Evil Dead, I will fight you because you're wrong. And last but not least, question number 13. Name 13 horror movie villains. Oh, okay. Okay, Jason, Pinhead, Michael, Chucky, Samara, Freddy, Tall Man. Oh god, this is hard. Pazuzu from Exorcist, the leprechaun. can't even remember who I've said. Oh my god. Ghostface. Patrick. Norman Bates. Who's Patrick Bates? Norman Bates. Mrs. Voorhees. And the Candyman. 13. Whoop. Whoop whoop. I'll watch that back now and I'll have repeated one and I'll want to punch myself in the face. And that's it for the horror movie tag. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. If you disagree with any of my opinions, please let's argue it out in the comments. I love it. And I love hearing from you guys. So please like and subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!